Okay, hi everyone. Thank you for dialing in to the webinar from Agile BA. This is Chirantan, and I also have my co-host Sandeep with me. It's a pleasure welcoming you. It's a pleasure welcoming you on a Sunday. I think it's the first Sunday after the new year, so we'll just possibly wait for a few more people to dial in. But thank you for making time out today. I think this is a truly global event. We are expecting people from all across the world. So good morning, afternoon, and evening to wherever you're dialing in from. So just as a quick intro, what we will do is we're going to kind of talk about the agenda of what we're going to do today. So what we're going to do today is, of course, first cover a few ground rules for the webinar. Then we are going to introduce ourselves. So we're going to introduce Sandeep and myself, who are kind of presenting today. Then we are going to pivot to the core topic for today, which is how we can make most of the job market. That's going to be very important to cover. And then we are going to give back to the business analysis, the project management, program management, essentially the change management community in the form of a few things that we are giving away. So first one would be a very interesting game. So we would want you to kind of pay attention to that game and actively participate. The second would be, we will be covering a few practical scenarios on how to use business analysis techniques, I think, which is definitely one of the things that BAs, PM, they all kind of look for. And third, what we're going to do is we're going to take you through a tool live, right? So this will be a live demo of a tool which can be used for agile and project management, business analysis, etc. Okay. So with that, those are the agenda for today. Now, in terms of the ground rules, I know that we are all excited to be part of this, but just humbly put, please ensure that when you're dialing in, you're staying on mute. Of course, we have the ability to put you on mute, but you will definitely get an ample amount of time to ask questions. Towards the end of this webinar, we will be kind of doing a little bit of leaving some time for some live career counseling as well, in case you wish to ask anything to myself or Sandeep. So that's definitely going to be there, where in the process, we will learn from you as well, right? So this is something that myself and Sandeep enjoy. We learn in the process. It is symbiotic. So try to keep yourself on mute. If you want to have some questions, please feel free to put the questions on the chat. The chat is going to be open all throughout. So please ensure that if you have questions, if you want to interact with us, you can put it on chat. There will also be a time in the webinar, I think a couple of instances where we will ask you live for questions. So that's the opportunity for you to ask us questions live, right? So those are the very simple ground rules for today. Okay, and with that, then what I'll do quickly is go to our quick introduction. We are going to get this PPT. So we're going to send this PPT to you. So don't worry about what we are presenting here on the webinar. We're going to put it on the chat. But Sandeep, over to you for a
Thank you, Chirantan. So I will just cover briefly why the Agile BA was formed. So when me and Chirantan, we have been friends for a while. I think I'll just speak for a minute. And what we figured out in the industry, that the trainings which we have done, like if you see the number of certification in between me and Chirantan, the number is huge. And what we have figured out, all these certifications, when we have been to these trainings are very much like theoretical training, very much like theory-based trainings. So, and it was left to us to actually kind of apply those, trainings and learnings in the real world, in the real industry, right? So, and there was a big mismatch and a lot of time waste was happening in that. So we kind of joined hands and we thought like, we're going to teach something which is very much relevant in the industry, like straight away, like cut all the, unrequired theory or, and there's so much outdated stuff out there as well, guys, so which we kind of cut out in our courses and stuff. Anyways, that's just to give a very brief introduction about the reason why we formed this company, Agile BA. So anyways, coming back to my profile here. So I've got 20 plus years of experience. A majority of my life is I've been living abroad. So I lived in the UK majority of the time. So I've done projects in the UK and European region mainly. And I've been involved in various type of companies, from $1 billion company to various startups, and at various capacities, various levels. I've handled projects up to like few £100 million projects, and I've delivered savings like, one single project's like I've delivered savings like £15 million saved, just by me inputting or giving my input in those projects or programs which I've handled. And I've worked as like a business analyst, project manager, program manager, product owner at different capacities again. And I've been also investing my money into startups. So I also see, where these project sponsors are coming from. They always look for that return on investment sort of a thought process. So, looking at the project from their eyes as well is very, very important. We teach this, all these, things in our classes in great details. But that is just a brief snapshot about me. I mean, apart from this, I worked in, public sector as well as private sectors, and I'm cross-function, worked in cross-functional domain. I'm generally work around technology. So technology is my forte. I've been an IT engineer in my background. So I live and breathe technology. So anything to do with any technical project, my forte. So I'll just pass you back to Chirantan, just to, if he can kindly introduce himself to the crowd. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sandeep. So just a little bit about myself. So I am a rare dinosaur in the change management industry. So I'm a triple P. By a triple P, I mean a PfMP, a PgMP, and a PMP.
Sorry,
I'm very passionate.
Chirantan, your slide is not there, I think.
Oh, no, I am presenting. Should I present again?
Yeah, please, if you could share again.
Okay, no problem at all. No issue.
There's a bit of lag there, So sorry about that.
Okay, no problem. Let's see if now it is visible.
Ready up. Ready up.
No, it's still starting, I think.
Okay, no problem. It takes a little bit of time to. With so many people using Zoom these days, internet is always unpredictable, right?
Yeah, and it's Sunday as well, so lots of people are playing games, sitting home, Xboxing.
I know. My son is doing the same. My son is doing the same.
Correct. Yeah. Sorry,
is it visible now, Sandeep?
It's visible. Yeah.
Is it visible now? Is the slide visible?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see it.
Perfect. So what I was saying is, along with the triple P, I'm also a CBAP, which is a certified business analyst professional. I'm also an agile coach. Professionally, I am a vice president with Citigroup, working in London, but I've kind of worked in India as well as UK and some other countries as well. One of the things which I enjoy doing, is, of course, aside from my experience on the regulatory side as well as on operations, right now I am doing front office. I kind of handle front office teams in technology. But aside from that, I am more of a people's person. So both myself and Sandeep, we are, industry, mentors, and we try to give back to the community, right? And as Sandeep was saying prior to me kind of introducing, is that our objective of giving back to the community is this, right? So whatever we have learned in our good 19 years of experience, 20 years of experience, we want to give back to the community. So that's why we are here today. All right. So that's a little bit about myself. Now, what we'll do quickly in terms of the agenda for today is to quickly pivot on the topic. So for the topic, I'll just go back to our slide here because this is going to be more conversational, right? As to why the job market is going to be very relevant in the first quarter of this year, right? So let me kind of give you my 2 cents on this. Typically being a hiring manager in my present role, as well as I've kind of hired close to 300 BAs. I think must be close to 200 project managers in the past in different phase. And every year, the first quarter of every calendar year is very crucial, right? The reason is there is a budgeting season which happens. And as part of the budgeting season, when it concludes in December, these are the roles which are made available. So these roles are manifold. These are spread across the industry. It is not just one industry is hiring, but there are a gamut of industries which are actually hiring at this present point in time. The second thing is the number of jobs are very high. And people come back from the vacation, especially the senior executives come back from the vacation. So it is very easy to get a yes in terms of the hiring cycle. I know that the hiring cycle itself sometimes can be a pain because it goes on for weeks. But I think the HR teams are on their foot, especially when they come back in January, and they want to roll out the offers as much as possible, right? Another thing which I want to talk about is in terms of the pay, the average pay for the jobs in the first quarter. So what happens is, when there is a budget which is on offer, right, that budget, they want to kind of use the high paying jobs upfront, right, which is right in the first quarter of the year. And as the year goes down, something that I've noticed, I'm sure Sandeep, you will agree with me, that the higher paying jobs actually come down, right? So what happens is replacement hires happen. So of course, when we're kind of taking in for cyclical attrition and when we're replacing jobs, but for the new roles, I think the newly budgeted roles, they are more there in the first quarter, right? So this is the time when you should be upskilling, reskilling, and entering the market on your own. Plus also in terms of your own job experience, acquiring new knowledge, right? So with that, why don't Sandeep, you shed a few aspects from your side, and then we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. I mean, recently I was talking to one of the hiring manager at Reeds, so it's one of the big website and big agency in the UK. So we were discussing this, that how many jobs will be, kind of there in the first quarter. So from his experience as well, and he's been doing it for another like 15 plus years. He's been a hiring manager. He's been like in the senior management decision making for Reeds. And he was sharing his insight as well. Yeah, he said, you're bang on, Sandeep, because, the big boys, they do their budgeting in December time. And the first quarter of every year, they try to look for the people, especially the senior people or like, people with the kind of more than one skilled job. So he given me like a bit more onto that, like, so senior people, and they're ready to offer more money as well because they have more money available. And obviously it works like a funnel. So you have a lot of money at the very beginning, and then it's kind of, that funnel sort of narrows down, as and when we kind of reach towards the mid of the year and towards the end of the year. So that it's coming from the mouth of a horse. So I think back to you, Chirantan. I mean, what's the next thing we are talking about on this?
So another aspect which I wanted to share about is, what kind of skills are valued today, isn't it, Sandeep? So, and not only in our own training, I think this has been a growing trend. I don't think that this will be a trend which will continue in the future, is that dual skills are respected and recognized more for hiring managers. Now, what do we mean by dual skills, right? Guys, this is very important, that the purses are shrinking, right? As we kind of hit a global recession today, that discretionary spend is going to come down. People will focus more on regulatory spend, right? People will focus more on regulations, whether it is accounting regulation, whether it is banking regulation, whether it is risk management, all of that will definitely increase. However, in every role, what is going to be appreciated are these dual roles, right? So now what do we mean by this? Now, let's say you are principally a business analyst, right? So you've been a business analyst and you kind of, let's say, positioned your career as a business analyst, but the industry would value if you have a primary skill as well as a secondary skill, right? So the secondary skill can be project management, right? Now, what happens is, if you can play interchangeably the role of a business analyst as well as a project manager, I know that we are all mostly agile, but in certain industries, the role of the project manager still exists, right? Whether that person is doing more the role of a product owner, that remains to be seen, but definitely that role is still there, right? Or you are a dev plus BA, right? So you're a development guy, you bring development skills onto the table, plus you're a business analyst, or you are a tester come project manager, right? So I think all these things play a role, right, in terms of kind of becoming available for the job market. So this is the time when you should be upskilling, you should be reskilling a few things that I think which are helping Also, Sandeep, when we mentor, we also, of course, help people in terms of tailoring their CVs. But I think there are a few tips that we can share here, right? I think this is going to be very helpful. And guys, please put on the chat if all of this is going to be helpful. If you want any such tips, please ask in terms of questions. But few things that at least we can mention from our own experiences. One, we've noticed that people try to repeat their experience across organizations, right? So let's try and have a conscious effort not to do that. Right. So for example, let me take an example. Let's say you've been a business analyst for 10 years. So which of course means that you've written BRDs, you've written FSDs, more recently you're writing epics, user stories, etc. But are you writing the same thing that I've written a BRD, I've reviewed a functional specification document, I have written a user story in 7 of your last organizations? That does not add a lot of value. So what you should do is, along with writing what you've done, try to add more skills. So they want to see what you've done year on year different, right? How have you grown in your roles, right? So that is going to be extremely important. Another thing that in terms of, our experiences is very important to call out both domain as well as technical skills within our CV and try to co-position them, right? Now, what we've seen, I think myself and Sandeep, we see dozens of CVs coming our way, right? Now, we see that very often a CV does not have a summary section. So please try to ensure a summary section is there. If that summary section is there, ensure that it is half a page, right? It is not more than half a page, right? Now, in that half a page, ensure that you position what are the kind of roles that you have done, what are your softer skills, what are your technical skills, what are the domain that you bring onto the table. If you have got data skills, please ensure that you mention those data skills, right? Now, let's say you work with tools, right? So you work with tools like Jira, you work with tools like ALM, maybe Confluence, SharePoint, etc. People want to see that. How have you used those tools? So please ensure that you kind of use those tools. If you've used business intelligence, if you have used, if you have been a data architect, ensure that you use and mention those tools, right? And I think one other thing which I want to mention is of late, Sandeep, I think this is a trend that we have had even in our consulting space, that people sometimes write that I am trained in Scrum, I'm trained in business analysis, I'm PMP trained, right? Guys, please don't make this mistake. Okay, I mean, it's a humble suggestion that don't write PMP trained, don't write CBAP trained. Only if you have the certification, please ensure that you write about international certifications, right? So because that is going to attract the market. Otherwise, what would happen is you are trying to oversell your position, right? Just being trained does not add a lot of value, right? So either you complete that journey, or through your own discussions, you already portray that you have those skills. Okay. All right, Sandeep, anything further on this topic? Of course, we're going to come back to it with more questions from the audience.
No, I think I would like to add this to the trained, CBAP trained or SQL trained piece. Recently, I've received quite a few CVs, and I've noticed some of those guys have same thing written in their CVs. So me as a hiring manager, I was talking to the HR as well, what we figured out, I mean, either these guys were not competent enough to take the exam. That's why they just only trained. They haven't kind of attempted to take those exams. So it's kind of gone, I mean, I'll just summarize it. It just gone negatively against those guys who mentioned that they are SQL trained or Scrum trained, right? Either you do the certification or you don't write it. Just you mention the Scrum skills which you have used in your experiences, as Shirantan have mentioned, and don't repeat the same type of, if you've done the similar type of work, try to highlight the gist of every project you've been involved in. Because what I've seen is repeatedly, in each and every company, person is writing, oh, I've done sprint retrospective, for example, and he's repeated that, in 5 different jobs. I mean, it's no good. You have to specify, okay, you were a Scrum Master or you were a business analyst and you've been involved in Scrum retrospective. What exactly have you done in that project? What was your individual contribution to that, how you actually help that projects to shape up, to reach to the final stage. So the hiring manager would like to know these nitty-gritties, and you have to give examples, like when you're speaking, to a hiring manager and you're interviewing, rather than you just saying or giving them very theoretical definitions about, let's say if they ask you a question like, do you know Scrum? You might choose to give them a definition, or you might choose to give them how you use Scrum in your organization. So give them an example of that. Give them a situation, how you use Scrum in your organization, right? So that helps you kind of, that kind of put you in front of the crowd. And I mean, that's what the hiring manager is looking for, right? Whether you have the relevant hands-on experience, and how you kind of express it in front of the other people. So I think that's a key point from my side, just to add on. So pass you back to Chirantan. Let's go to the next slide, I guess.
Yeah. I think we'll get to the next section, to be honest. So this is the section when we are making it more fun. Okay, so we are going to kind of play a quiz. So for that, what I'll do is on the chat, I'm going to put you a code there. So can you please go to this code? Whether you're dialing in from your laptop or from your phone, just click on the link that you received on the chat and we will present a topic. Okay, so for that, I'm going to present a few questions. Let me just see if I can share this. Just give me one moment. The first question, okay. Can you guys try and attempt this? Who is tasked with sizing of the product backlog item, right? And we are going to keep a minute for each question, okay? Minute and then 45 seconds.
You need to click
Hopefully
on the link
coming up
in the chat to attempt these questions, guys. So let's click on the link and then you'll be presented with the questions.
Okay. We are not able to see your votes, by the way. Okay, so this is something that you can write, which you will enjoy, I'm sure. We are not able to see your, I mean, who is voting what, right? So we are not going to see that. So this completely, so don't worry, you're not exposing anything. In this webinar, we are not hiring managers. We are just a colleague from the industry, so you can feel free to answer. Okay, good. So we've got 14 votes, but we've got more than 40 participants. So we'll hope a few more people want to kind of attempt this. Guys, just for people who are joining in now, I'm going to put the same chat again. So this is the link where you can go and answer the question which is there on your screen. Who is tasked with sizing of the product backlog item? Your 1 minute is over. Got 19 votes. So 37% says the Scrum team, isn't it? As the duty as the entire team is working on the task. We've got a tie for the second place, 25% on A and B. But see, Scrum team makes sense, isn't it? C. I'll tell you something, guys. It is not C, but it is actually A, which is the right answer. The developers, after clarifying requirements from the product owners, but if you look at this, product backlog is something which the product owner owns. However, the product backlog item is actually picked up in the sprint, right? And it is the developers who clarify the requirements from the product owner, and then they do the sizing of, and that's why they are supposed to do the estimation of the user stories. Okay, let's go to the next one. Let's see if you get this. Okay, we'll start with 45 seconds this time. Assigning data regarding the efficiency of a new process, it differs markedly and the stakeholder isn't able to explain why. The steps in the processes remain the same. This is from business analysis. If you see the metadata, what's your next step? Will you perform root cause analysis? Will you use observation technique? Will you use interviews, or will you use surveys or questionnaires? These are all techniques which BAs use, right? But which one do you think is the most appropriate technique here? Okay, so we see that people have started work, which is very nice. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying. Guys, if you are enjoying, at least we want to see some expression. Shujas for the camera. So Shujas, we can see you. Thank you for putting up the camera. I don't know if others, if you are willing on the camera, that's fine. It's not a compulsion. but at least try and vote. Okay, because voting excites us. We know that you're enjoying. At least like you're enjoying on the chat. If you're enjoying, so that we know you're liking it.
Chirantan, I'm not sure for others, but for me, your voice is cracking a bit.
Yeah, we couldn't
it's
hear.
very good.
Yeah, the voice is
Okay.
cracking for Chirantan a little bit.
If you ask your son
Okay.
to stop the Xbox for a while, you know.
Yeah. Just give me one moment. Just give me one moment. Yeah.
Oh, his son plays a lot of big games and with lots of friends, I think. So it kind of takes a lot of bandwidth on the internet. And that happens on every Sunday. I think I can see Sumanta is also writing. Faizan, I see your questions. We'll discuss those, okay? The major technical requirements for BAs, so don't worry. Guys, if you have any other questions, just keep posting it in the chat, right? Don't wait till the last moment. We'll take these questions at the end anyways. And if you have any personal questions like regarding your own like career, where you want to take it to, we'll be more than happy to answer at the, the last part of the webinar. Please bear with us. I hope you're enjoying these multiple choice questions. It's a fun way of learning where we can see, and learn very quickly. And I think Shweta must be answering majority of these questions correctly because she recently has become a Scrum Master with 95%, Shweta. So well done you.
Congratulations, brother.
Thank you. Thank you.
How was your experience, Shweta?
Yeah, it was very good. I just have to say, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, no, I just have to say it's a very good experience. And I just did the training. We completed it December. I think 13th of December we finished. So as Chirantan said, you have to attempt within the first 2 or 3 weeks after you finish the training. I think that was very helpful because the knowledge was very fresh. I didn't have to read a lot. And the training covers it all. And I think I didn't have to study a lot because the way Chirantan teaches, the concepts, the understanding of the concepts helped in answering the questions. It's not just theory. The understanding is required because some of the questions are very tricky. And yeah, overall, it was a very good experience. As you said, it's very practical. And just to tell everybody, I'm not from IT background. I am a clinical, a very advanced level physiotherapist by profession. I work in NHS, but I just decided to change career. So I'm starting from level 0. I have no knowledge of IT and BA, not more than what we hear around. So I don't have any qualifications in that, but doing the training was very helpful. I literally thought I have the confidence to go and apply for a job to that level, considering I have no background working knowledge in this field. So it was very practical. We actually practiced the BA tools, the Jira. So it was very, very helpful. So yeah, and I'm looking forward to doing more trainings because this is the first step, but yeah, definitely we'll come back.
Thank you, Shweta, for the kind words.
Thank you.
All right, sorry, hopefully my voice is better now. Yeah, is it sounding all right now, Sandeep?
Yes, Chirantan.
Much better now.
Okay, perfect. So this one, performing root cause analysis is what most of you have voted. The second highest one is use surveys or questionnaires. See, this is the tricky part. The answer is none of them. The answer is use observation technique, which is the lowest voted one.
Correct.
Okay. The reason for the same, very quickly, is that when the stakeholders are not able to explain you something, there is definitely some conscious bias, right? It is something to do with cognizance. We can't get into the mind of the stakeholder unless you're observing, right? So observation is the right technique. There are 2 sorts of observation. One is passive observation and one is active observation, but observation is the right one. Okay. Next one, this is on project management, guys. Let's see how many of you get this correct. This time I'm going to keep it to 45 seconds because we want to cover a lot more. Okay. This is the one on the screen. There's a question. You should be able to see it on your phone or on your laptops. If you want to vote, please vote. And of course, definitely put on your questions. We saw a few questions, Sandeep. Let's encourage people to kind of put in some questions, because we want to leave ample time at the end to answer questions, right? Because we are here for that purpose.
That is right. I mean, we're getting some nice questions from the participants, and I'm hoping the other people will post their questions as well. So whatever your pain point is, guys, just post it in the chat, and we'll be more than happy to address it. That's what we do day in, day out, helping people with their careers.
We ourselves in the process as well. We stay close to the subject, right?
Correct.
Okay, so time is almost up. 75% are saying we are mitigating. 25% 1/4 are saying we are accepting. I think there are now people who are saying we are avoiding as well. Okay. The right answer is we are accepting. I know this is a very tricky one. It looks like we are mitigating, but the reason we are not mitigating in this case, this is directly a PMP question, by the way, guys. So if any one of you are planning project management professional, or you're thinking about that, this is one of the questions which is very similar to what is usually asked in exams, right? So this is accepting, because in this case, you already have something when the risk is occurring, right? So you're accepting the fact, right? You're not actively mitigating, right? Okay, let's see if this one you get this correct. This is program management. People who are in a program management shoe would be able to kind of tackle these questions, but all of you, please let us into the project management role, become program managers, right? So please attempt that. Are you guys enjoying this? Guys, say yes.
Yeah, Chandran, I'm enjoying it. It's fun. It's
okay,
nice revision.
That's nice. That's nice.
Thanks, Shreya. Thank you.
Okay, let's say program management is quite interesting, right? Before after which we close the voting. Okay, quite interestingly, we'll close voting now for this question. And the highest one is determine the organization's willingness to accept and deal with risk. 47%, that's the right answer actually. Okay, so good done, well done all of you. Okay. Next one is portfolio management. This is the last one in the series, I hopefully, for this section of our patient. So please try and answer this. I think a few of you have already started to answer. Market payoff variability, time to market variability. This is the question, by the way, on the screen. So in case people are looking at the screen share, there's a question on the screen as well. Which technique will you use within portfolio management? So portfolio management, very quickly, for the uninitiated, is when you are married to the strategic objective of the organization. It's the highest order within PMI certification. Starts with PMP, then PgMP, and then PfMP. So this is directly a PfMP question, right? And where you're managing a collection of projects or programs, not necessarily related to one another, okay, but they are related to the strategic objective, the organization strategic plan. Okay, so people are voting. I think trend analysis is the highest. So people stop off voting for this one. I think this is something which people are really liking, isn't it? Something people just continue to vote, right? So I think this is really nice. We are excited as well that you like this. So the right answer in this case is the lowest one, which is market payoff variability. Right, so market payoff variability is the right answer. It's not trend analysis, neither is it market requirement variance analysis. Okay, so with that, we will kind of go to the next section of our presentation. This is for the BAs, people who want to be BAs, people who are already business analysts. I think they are going to enjoy this. So what we're going to do is, on the screen, I'm going to present you a Word document. Just let me know when you are able to see the screen. Are you able to see the screen now?
Yeah, we can see the screen, Chandran.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So there will be 8 scenarios here. And if you see the techniques are there in the yellow highlight on top, you have to apply the technique to each of these scenarios. And for this, we are going to put you under a little bit of time pressure. Please note, this is not a chat exercise. This is not a group exercise. This is an individual one. So please do it at your own end. So match 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And each of these techniques can appear once. So a survey can appear more than once. An interface analysis can appear more than once. Brainstorming can appear more than once across scenarios. Okay, so we'll give you 5 to 6 minutes for this. And starts now. Okay, we'll just.
Chirantan, your voice was cracking. So meanwhile, if you can fix the look at the internet, please. Thank you.
Yes, Sandeep, what I'll do is I'll make you the host for a little while I kind of look at fixing up my this one. And
Yeah, that's fine.
Right. But then you will need this document as well, isn't it?
It's okay. Just you stay host, and just if you can fix the internet, it's okay.
Yeah, okay. Because I just have to change my internet service provider. So just give me one moment.
Yeah, no problem. I hope you guys are enjoying this. See, these are some of the techniques, which a BA uses in different sort of scenarios. And these are some of the scenarios which we have given you. And we have to identify the right technique. As a business analyst, we use various techniques to kind of gather the information, right? When we are doing the elicitation of the requirements. So just please try.
Yeah, I've tried to switch my internet provider, Sandeep. I don't know if it's any better.
It's okay so far.
Okay, perfect.
And these techniques sometimes get asked in the interview as well, guys. So I've asked these techniques from some of the interviewees, and generally I've seen people asking these techniques. They will ask you, all right, okay, as a business analyst, just can you tell me which one is your favorite technique, for information gathering? And why? What is the reason for it? So these are some of the techniques. You can just tell them these are the techniques you have used, and you can just tell them your most favorite one and what is the reason behind it. Okay.
While we still have 3 minutes, Sandeep, and while people are answering it on their phones or laptops, etc., why don't we do one thing? Why don't we send our presentation to the audience on the chat here? Is that possible?
Yeah. Please, you can attach that presentation to the chat.
Yeah.
Oh,
let me do that.
Or we can also email it to everybody with the recording of this session so that they can see it and they can correlate. Just sending the presentation.
I mean, if you want to leave your email addresses, okay. If you want to leave behind your email addresses,
I'll send them. I'll send them the chat as well, the Zoom chat which we are having here, as well as the recording of the session, so they can actually go back and listen to it if they need to, right? And whatever the question they might have, they'll have an answer to that as well on the chat, on the email itself.
Yeah.
And keep posting your questions, guys, please. Thank you.
Okay, this is nice. Guys, we have 2 more minutes for these techniques.
Yes, Albert, you can please leave your email in the chat. It's okay. I mean, you know, and then you can just do it personal to me, you know, or Chirantan, you can send it to one of us, Albert, if you don't want it to put it on the chat. So you can just send us a direct message.
Okay, so we have another 45 odd seconds to finish before we give out the solutions for this one. And as the next section of our webinar, Sandeep, maybe you can present one of the tools, right? We wanted to show one of the tools.
Yeah, I'll show them one of the BA tools which we use in the industry. See, this tool will be like, I'll show you a brief of it basically. I will not be able to, I don't have time to explain the whole tool and the whole scenario, but I'll show you how to use this tool as a business analyst. I'll maybe show you a couple of them quickly, you know, so you get a bit of idea. But we cover these tools in great details and when we are teaching in a batch, because we have a lot more time and you have a lot more time to practice while we do these case studies in the class. So I think somebody was asking me, Faiz, I know one of those guys, I think I remember. They haven't got experience or I'm just trying to find the question they've asked.
Yeah, we can kind of go to the questions in just a while, Sandeep. Maybe what we'll do is very quickly give the scenarios here, right? So the time is over for this one. And whatever you've written, can you just match it with answers or the explanations that we give you, right? So the first one, as we start this, is you want to understand the format of his report and if he wants any other rules to be implemented, right? So in all of this, you're definitely going to look for interviews with open-ended questions, right? Not closed-ended. Try to ask more open-ended questions using interviews as a technique, right? The second one, right? Now the trick was here. You want to evaluate all the possible options. You want to evaluate all. This was the trick, all the possible options. So whenever you're trying to come up with all possible options, the right one is brainstorming, right? So especially for the courses that we do for hybrid BA, where we teach CBAP, CCBA and ECBA from IIBA and BCS, this is brainstorming is a very important technique. All right, third one. You are assigned to a project where data from 6 different source systems needs to be consolidated, processed, and then forward to 3 different downstream systems. See, the eyes of an architect would have lit up, isn't it? Looking at this scenario. So whenever we're talking about an architecture diagram, okay, whenever we are talking about an architecture diagram, it is interface analysis, right? So BABOK, the business analysis body of knowledge, calls this, the interface analysis. Fourth one, you want to make sure that this outing appeals to all the team members and you've set up a meeting and invite some experienced team members in order to avoid any unpleasant repeat. So that means there has been a conflict in the past and you're trying to avoid that. So for that, whenever you're inviting such people, it's a focus group meeting where you send the agenda beforehand and you invite pre-qualified people to come and talk about a particular topic. So that's why it is focus group is our section there, right? Okay, the next one is so many different users from so many different places. They need to be brought face to face. So this one, of course, is a requirements workshop. Okay, this one is a requirements workshop because in the requirements workshop, you're supposed to bring people face to face so that you can understand the relative ranking, relative priority of each group, right? The sixth one, you're now wondering what can be done to understand the actual workings of the system, right? They are not able to exactly convey, right? This was also there in the quiz. We're not able to exactly convey. So this one is observation, right? This one is observation. The next one is you've just finished initial stakeholder analysis. The stakeholders do not know how to review the typical requirement document. Whenever they don't know how to review the typical requirement document, it is prototyping, right? This is also called wireframing. How many of you have heard about wireframing? Wireframing is the right one here, right? And the last one is nothing but geographically spread. So this one is a survey or a question, all right? So with that, what I will do is, let me just make you the host, Sandeep, and then you can kind of, I'll stop sharing. You can kind of show them the tool, but maybe quickly, because we want to quickly keep some time for questions as well.
Right. Okay, that's fine. I'll quickly show them the business process modeling. That's one of the, technique we use as a business analyst. And I'll show you in a software called Lucidchart. So when you're working in an organization, guys, I mean, they give you their favorite tools, whatever they want you to use. Some of them give you like Visio, some other organizations have some other tool. Even you can do these things in Miro and Mural as well nowadays. However, I normally use the Lucidchart. I'm trying to send you a file. Let me just quickly see. It's a picture basically, and I'll show you how I will be drawing this in Lucidchart. Just give me 1 second. Sorry, it's not saved. Just 1 second. Sorry. Screenshot. Right. Let me just see if I can attach it quickly to the computer. Right, and I'll draw this, the process on the Lucidchart with you. Just give me a second. I'll share my screen quickly. Let me know when you can see my screen. Can you see my screen now? Right. I've sent you this.
Yeah, can see.
Right. I've sent you this this diagram in the chat. Okay. So if you want to open this diagram from the chat, and I'll draw it for you by using Lucidchart, the same diagram. I'll just move it to another screen, right? So in this diagram, right, okay, Lucidchart is one of the tools I think we use for it. So we go to new, we go to Lucidchart, blank document. We need to document anyways. Let's make it full screen so you can see it. So in this diagram, there are 4 swim lanes, guys, okay? So I don't have time to explain you the swim lane, but these are the swim lanes, right? Like as if you're swimming. There are 4 swim lanes in that diagram, so I'll make it 4 quickly, right? And I'll just rename these swim lanes. First swim lane is called stakeholder. Stakeholders. Second one is a project BA, project business analyst. Third one is the change control board. So, and the last one is sponsor. So here they're raising a change request. So the process starts from here, right? I will say CR raised. To follow this, you need to look at the diagram which I've sent you on the email, right? And I'll go to the next swim lane. So next action is here, and it's the diamond box, and it's a decision box, whether this change request is valid or not valid, okay? So we'll do the happy path first, which is the yes path, right? If the change request is valid, what happens? You understand the requirements from the stakeholders. Requirements from the stakeholders, right? Then what happens is you do the analysis. You do the analysis impacted areas. And then you prepare the update. Prepare the update CR document, okay? And then what's happening is we're going back. So we're sending it back to the stakeholder to review it basically, right? So we are drawing this into the stakeholder swim lane, guys, okay? So CR document. So they will say whether it's right, it's a spelling mistake. So don't worry about the spellings. We can do that later. We have a bit of less time here, sorry. So from here, we are making a decision whether this is, so the stakeholders say whether this is okay or not okay, right? So if we are creating a decision box, diamond box here. If it's okay, then the document is sent to the change control board for the review, right? So it goes to review CR, and estimates. So they do the estimation for this, right? If that is okay, then we create another decision box. Is it okay? Yes, it's okay, right? And if it's okay, then what happens? Then it sent for this, for the approval to the sponsor, okay? So it goes to the sponsor to get approved. So approve CR, okay? And once that is approved, the process ends, right? The process ends. The BA will end the process. So we need to create this end terminator in the BA swim lane, okay? Is it making sense, guys, so far? Like what I've done? You're looking at the picture. Are you getting it so far, guys? And
yes, Sandeep.
Say yes or no? Okay, good. Thank you. So right now we're going to look at the no path. So from here, we've done the happy path first. So from valid, if it's not valid, right? What happens if it's not valid? You end the process, right? Does it make sense? So if you look at the diagram, it's ending here, right? And now look at the second decision box here. So if it's not, if they review the document and they say, right, something is not right with this document. So what happens is the document has to go back to the BA, right? So we connect the no to prepare the CR document again, right? So it goes back to the BA, they do that, and they send it back to the stakeholder again. So same process starts here. So if, and look at this third diamond box, right? If it's no, right, it has to go back to the BA again for the review, right? So we can connect this to that same box again. The same process happens here as well. So are you getting it so far, guys? I mean, we've just finished the this diagram within, I think, 5 minutes, I say 5-7 minutes. So this is one of the quickest way. I mean, and I use Lucidchart for this because you can create diagrams on fly. I mean, some of you are experienced business analysts and you can kind of vouch for this, that Lucidchart is one of the fastest tools available to do such diagramming or activities. So are you happy with it so far, guys? Shall I quickly show you the sprint retrospective tool, like in Mural, like, you know, how I've used it?
I think let's just send them a video for that, Sandeep, because we are almost 10 minutes away from closure. We want to leave some time for questions. Right?
Okay, so let's stop it. Yeah.
Tools are something definitely which we are passionate about, but unfortunately we've got a time constraint, right? Okay, guys, so this is your opportunity to please put more questions on the chat. You guys have our contact numbers and our email addresses in case you want to get in touch with us. Just a quick note, we are not certification focused, guys, please. Okay, we are industry experts. We both are in the industry. We are industry SMEs here, and we want to create more SMEs. We want to promote more of SMEs coming and talking in the industry. Right, so we do more case study based curriculums. Certification is a byproduct, right? So we don't focus on certification as an end, but it's a means to an end, right? That's going to be very important, right? Okay, so let's take the questions on the chat first. We are waiting for more questions to be put on the chat, and also we will give you some opportunity to ask us live questions. I think Faizan asked the first question, right? That he is a fresher and he has no relevant technical background. How can he break into business analysis job? Right. So you would have heard Shweta only here, isn't it, Faizan? Right. So Shweta isn't a business analyst. So she comes from the healthcare domain, and we are domain agnostic. So that's the beauty. The training that we impart are domain agnostic. You don't need to be from banking. You don't need to be from financial services or IT. In fact, quite a few of our students come from other domains like HR, legal, sales, marketing, right? Healthcare, life sciences, right? Logistics.
Recruitment.
So BA is a delivery role. Recruitment as well. Yeah, recruitment as well, isn't it? So the idea is come to us. We will help you kind of talk the BA language. I think there are quite a few people who just teach you theory. You understand from our presentation, we are not interested in theory, right? So we do everything hands-on in tools. And we make you solve the case studies, right? And post that, the kind of CV tailoring help that we do. So we kind of send you some CVs on which you can tailor your CVs. Plus you make the most use of our networking abilities as well, right? Not only in UK, Sandeep, but also in India and definitely other countries, in the US as well. We've kind of had a lot of exposure there in the market, and you can use that, right? You can use our leverage our networking to kind of get into BA roles, right?
Correct.
So you'll have to take that leap of faith, Faizan. Short answer is you have to take that leap of faith. Okay.
Correct.
Next question is what do recruiters see in a candidate? How should one crack an interview as a fresher? Sandeep, you want to take this?
Yeah, I think
what do recruiters see in a candidate?
I think we have given several examples during this webinar. What do we see? What do recruiter, see in an interview or from a candidate? What do they focus upon? One thing is definitely like, how do you present yourself? How do you kind of relate a question they have asked with some examples you have done in your previous jobs, right? Like you always have to give them some live examples of the questions which has been asked to you. Or if you're a fresher, then you can relate to the, like if you attending a course like from Agile BA, like from ourselves, you can talk about those case studies you have solved as a business analyst, right? You can talk about, right, this was a problem statement, and these are the things you have done as a business analyst. These are the various documents you have prepared, and these were the reasons you have done that, and this was a result at the very end, So you can present it in a meaningful way, so that the interviewer understands it, that you know the concepts. You not only know the concepts, but you know how to apply them as well, right? And that's the key essence here for the interview, Syed. So I hope I've managed to answer your question. Chirantan, do you want to add anything to it?
No, I think you've covered it all, Sandeep. So we'll actually go to the next question. The next question is from Shivam. So he asks us that where do you feel is the BA industry today? Is it at the introductory phase? Is it at peak? Is it at growth? Is it at decline? I think we are definitely at the growth phase, right? Sandeep and me, I mean, we ourselves have been BAs for more than 15 years, right? So while we have got a glorious career and very thankful to God for that purpose, but we've seen the industry grow, right? So right from the BRDs, the FSDs, right from a place where unified modeling language, right? UML was the order of the day, right? You used to make class diagrams, sequence diagrams, activity diagrams. I think the industry has slightly evolved more from that, and people are more expecting BA come product owner, isn't it? And that's the reason our course has tailored that, right? So if you go to any particular training institute, they will only sell you courses, right? So, but we kind of give you the IIBA curriculum plus the Scrum curriculum merged into one. So what happens there is you kind of take advantage of the traditional BA, which is the waterfall aspect, plus the more modern Agile concepts, right? So you understand Scrum, you apply those methodologies, because today's world, you are not going to be asked to just write a BRD. You're going to be asked to write a feature. You're going to be asked to write a user story. You will be asked to possibly also use the Fibonacci series to do the estimation, right?
Exactly.
Give the complexity score, isn't it? Sandeep, you want to add anything?
Yeah, just very quickly. I mean, the reason to kind of merge these two things together is because the job market is as such. They want you to have these skills to be able to work as a successful BA. So we, in Agile BA, we work in a very agile way ourselves, right? We see what is the market demanding, and we tailor our courses, our case studies according to that. And we keep on adding new case studies and removing some of the pieces which we think are not relevant to a particular session or something along those lines, and our previous students can vouch for that. So we only just teach you what is needed to kind of get you to that next level. Either it's a new job or you want to you are an experienced BA. We have had BAs to our batches who have got 15 years of BA experience, and they found themselves stuck at a place and they didn't know what to do, to get that go to the next level from then onwards. And we have helped them. We successfully helped them. Some of the BAs we have mentored or product owners, they've moved offshore as well, like from India to the other countries, or from one country to the other country with our helps, with our internal network. So so that is that. I think Aditya, I want to take up the course. Yes, feel free, Aditya, please contact us. Leave us your number on the chat, direct message to us. and then we'll talk after the course. So, okay, the next question is from Shivam. He says, how BA different from the project manager? Chirantan, do you want to answer this?
Yeah, of course. I mean, this is, see, the BA is different from the project manager in the sense the project manager is more concerned with handling the triple constraints, right? So the constraints of time, cost, and scope. We call it the iron triangle, right? So if you've been doing PMP, which is the project management book of knowledge, the PMBOK, you will be focusing, the project manager will be focusing on this. However, the BA has a very, very different and an equally important, if not more important role, right? Which is to kind of scope log the requirements for the entire project, whether you're on waterfall, whether you're on agile, the work of the BA is to understand what is the requirements, elicit the real needs of the stakeholders, not the ones which the stakeholder is saying, maybe synthesize it, discover more needs, work with the stakeholders, come up with those needs, document it, right? Whether it is lean documentation. So nowadays you kind of just write it on features and user stories using Jira. But that is the bread and butter of the BA, and a very important part of the BA is to do the functional testing, right? So while in the exam for IIBA, they will say that no test, BAs don't do testing, but in the real world, in the real industries, BAs definitely do the functional user acceptance testing, right? Should we look at this question, Sandeep? I'm just looking at someone whose iPhone. And guys, we are just over by 2 minutes. We are happy to extend it by another 13-14 minutes in case you want to ask some live questions. We will be around. Okay, so we are going to keep this active for another 12 to 14 minutes. All right. Okay. Now this question says that he or she is from the BFSI industry with a BA background of 5 years and wants to switch the industry. Right. I think this is also very commonplace, right? Whoever you are, you wanted to ask the question anonymously, we respect that. See, the thing is, there are many people who are switching industry, right? Now, the presentation that we have shared with you, right, Sandeep, the presentation that you would have seen on the chat, I've actually posted it, our PDF.
Okay.
That has the sectors where BA industry is going the fastest. In fact, while BFSI and IT used to be the industry which is paying the most, it is not. Globally, there are other sectors which are paying a lot more, right? So let me name a few sectors. One is advisory and consulting, right? So you would have heard about the big fours, the KPOs, right? So I think the KPOs are paying a lot more to business analysts because the consultant essentially is a business analyst as well, right? Another industry which is paying a lot is healthcare and life sciences. Another industry which is paying a lot is logistics.
Surprisingly.
E-commerce, logistics, e-commerce, and government, which we thought were very low paying industries historically, they have upped their game, right? So they are definitely at the forefront of paying out and dishing out a huge amount of salary, right? So definitely if you want to switch the industry, I think a BA can switch easily. So that's not a limitation. Any other question you want to pick up?
We'll send you those salary surveys on the email as well. Like if you
we have. I think the PDF has that.
Brilliant. I think I have a question from Aditya. He's saying he's completed his certification in data science and almost 7 months of experience as a BA, but he hasn't used Jira and any similar tools yet. And I worked on the projects like increasing sales, he says, cost management, and monitoring how the project is being followed. I want to understand where Scrum and other BA techniques comes into the picture here. I work as a BA for B2B sales.
Right.
Right.
So and what's the real question? The real question is, how do you become the BA, or how do you?
So real question as looks like it's he wants to use a Jira and other tools, similar tools as a business analyst.
So
right,
we do that in the course, right? We do that in the course, Aditya. In case that's your question, we do that in the course. So we give you a hands-on experience of how to use Jira, what is an epic, what is a feature, what is a user story. Rather, we don't show that to you, but you actually use it using concepts.
You do it. Correct. And you get trained
live.
So
exactly.
Right. So next question is, Do we have any more questions?
Towards the end, there are lots of them. So I think I'm seeing from Faizan, is work from home feasible for BA? It is. There are a lot of remote opportunities. In fact, both Sandeep and me, we are in the hybrid space today.
Correct.
Okay, so we don't need to go to office every day. But of course, you have to be flexible enough. Okay, so let's not put all our eggs in one basket, that it will always be remote. We have to be open and flexible, right? Is there work-life balance there? Of course, there is work-life balance, right? So you have to work your full hours with dedication, with a lot of focus, but of course there is work-life balance. It depends on how efficiently you can carry out. Now, let me give you an example. While Sandeep was, showing this, change request or the process flow diagrams, right? If you go back and try this using Visio, and if anyone can do this in 5 minutes, please come and get in touch with us, because you're a star then. Visio is a very cumbersome tool, right? So people who've used Visio, it's not easy to do the connections. It takes ages, right? So these are tools which are here to make your life much more efficient, isn't it? So that's definitely there.
Right. So next question is, do you have any internship or apprenticeship opportunity available?
We do have certain internships and apprenticeship opportunity available, but it is more local. So we both are, more in the UK market. So if you want to work with us, you can work with us directly. But see, another thing which we've mentioned again is we are very well networked, right?
Correct.
So if you want to have internship and apprenticeship, there are employers who get in touch with us, right? Because they know that, we impart the training on all of these fields, right? PMP, the project management, portfolio management, business analysis, agile coaching. So you can definitely look at those. So please send us your resume, get in touch with us, send us your resume. We'll be happy.
Yeah, you have our WhatsApp number there on the chat. I'll post it again. Just get in touch. We'll talk. We can help you. I think someone is asking Toby. So Toby's asking, you spoke about building a secondary and technical skill as a BA. What are the top 2 skills and specialization that you would recommend to build in 2023, apart from the project management?
Toby, thank you for asking that question. That's a very relevant skill. It depends on, what kind of journey are you in right now. So let me break this answer up. Okay. So let's say you want to enter the industry with 2 years of general experience. You're not a BA. In that cases, Sandeep, we have seen that data becomes a very important essential skill set, right? So you will be given data analyst jobs, right? Now for doing data analyst jobs, we will strongly recommend you should definitely know SQL, because you will possibly get your first break as an IT business analyst, right? As an IT business analyst, data mining becomes very important. Then knowing the concepts of data broadly, which is data governance, you should know about data visualization, data visualization. Now, see, for example, people get in touch with us to know more about, certain very niche areas, right? The other day, Sandeep and me, we were kind of talking to one person who were talking about what's the difference between a data fabric, a data lake, and a data mesh. Very difficult topic, guys, right? This is not easy. A data fabric, a data mesh, and a data lake, right? So if you want to know more about these things, of course, you can kind of get in touch with us, enroll, but data is one of them. Now, let's say you are already an experienced professional, to be your question, right? So let's say you got 10 years of experience and you already are a business analyst. You already are a project manager. In those cases, it depends on where you want to take your career. So if you want to take your career to greater heights, we would say that look at scaled agile as an opportunity. Have you looked at scaling? Have you looked at opportunities to become an agile coach? So you should kind of take up those skills. If you want to grow more in the communication skills, if you want to become a COO or a chief change officer, there is a new designation in the industry called chief change officer. Then you need to do certifications higher order up, right? Like the likes of PfMP. Combine it, right, with different aspects. So this is more of an individualistic one. We wouldn't say that there is a one size fits all answer for this.
So it depends on your profile as well, like Toby, what you've done in the past and which area you want to go into. There can be various ways where you can go horizontally, as as a business analyst, as well as vertically as well. So, I mean, you can get in touch with us and we can surely help you with, any of the answers you have. Or any
I think Mercy is asking this question, Sandeep, that how long is our training typically, right? Thanks, Mercy, for asking that question. So our trainings are only on weekends, Mercy, because of course we are all industry professionals here. So our trainings are usually 4 hours on every Saturday and Sunday. It is at a fixed time. So for UK time, it is, let's say, 1:30 to 5:30. You can calculate in whichever time zone you are. Let's say if you're in India, it's about 7 o'clock. If you're in New York, because we've got global participants, it starts at 8:30. And this goes on for 4 weekends usually, right? So 4 weekends where we do tooling, we do kind of your CV tailoring, as well as give you case study based curriculum, right? So it takes time to kind of mentor anyone. It doesn't happen overnight, Mercy, right? It takes some time.
Shweta wants to know if it's BA allows you for the global working opportunity. So like taking a job in the UK and you can work remotely from any other country. I mean, so it depends on your organization, Shweta, right? Like, so your understanding in between you and your employer. Yes, so definitely you can work. I've done it. I was away for months from the UK. I was traveling, I was still working, getting paid. So it depends on the, that sort of arrangement, with the employer, basically. I hope that answers your question.
But in fact, we can also extend this, Sandeep, right? We have seen real mobility opportunities coming, right? So people from whom we have trained in India, they have actually moved to the UK post our training. People have moved from London to Switzerland. It depends on where you're comfortable working.
Correct. I've seen like student move to Australia, to Japan, to Canada, to US, to the UK, some European countries, and from European countries to the other countries. Like people have gone to Dubai as well from like UK to work. They got a good opportunity, good break, and they, we help them with the mobility and all. So that happens all the time. I have a new question here from Albert. He says, do you support with onboarding once someone breaks into the industry?
Yeah, we definitely do, Albert. So see, what happens is sometimes when, in fact, we have kind of trained people. Let me give you an example, Albert, right? So there was, amongst many people whom we have transformed careers, there was one instance where we remember that this person was from HR staffing, right? And from HR staffing, this person became a Scrum Master and had a team to start off with. Imagine, from HR staffing with 10 years of experience, that person decided to switch completely to Scrum, being a Scrum Master, right? So that person trained with us, became a Scrum Master, and then, in the first 2 to 3 weeks of his or her journey, we had to definitely help in the onboarding, right? So try to understand what are the ways in which tooling can be done, what are the ways in which he or she can be more conversant with the templates, etc. We do that, but not for a very long period of time. So we do that, support it for a brief period of time, and then you are on your own.
So it depends again. Like, he recently contacted me again, the same person. He said, oh, my Scrum Master contract I was doing was finished. So he was working in India. So salaries are very different. He was working at from 10 lakh. He got a break as a Scrum Master to go on to 17 lakh. So 10 lakh is 10,000 pounds, right? So he jumped to 17,500 pounds from that as a Scrum Master. Now, recently, I've helped him to transition from Scrum Master to become a business analyst, where he is earning about 27 grand, 27,000 pounds as a salary yearly. So that's 27 lakh in India. So it's a lot of money. So he, return on investment, like he kind of doubled his salary, more than double, actually triple his salary, So from 10 to almost 27. So there we go. And there are a lot of stories like that, which we can go on and on. There's a question I see here. Can you show us a sample of good Scrum Master or a BACV? So we know common errors.
We can send it across, isn't it? We can send across a couple of CVs.
For jobs. I mean, we can send you, however, we give a lot more CV templates when we are teaching in the course. I mean, so it's just not the CV only, the other things, you need to, so CV is what? It's like a door entry, right? You get selected in front of and you go in front of the interviewer. Then how do you crack those interviews? I mean, right? Once you crack the interview, you got the job, as Albert was asking, how do you survive in the job, right? So unless and until you have done some real hands-on practice on various different case studies, look at a problem statement from various different mindsets, it's very hard, right? And these other theoretical trainings don't give you that sort of experience. If I've answered your question correctly. Chananthan, do you want to add on anything to it?
No, I think this is, and see, we are constantly adding stuff. For example, when you leave behind your email addresses, we will also want to send you one free tool to do psychometric analysis for the best workplace opportunities that you want to pursue. So for example, Shujat, I'm just, because you have your camera on, let me take your example. Let's say, for example, we didn't know each other, right? And let's say I will give you a survey tool, a link, which will take you 15 minutes. The trick is you have to answer very honestly. After doing that survey, once you leave behind the email addresses, get in touch with us. You will be surprised the way they actually predict the kind of roles that you should take up. So for example, when I took the survey myself, it came for me that I should be doing program management. I'll tell you my 4 ones. I should be doing program management. I should be in education and teaching. Third, I should be doing communications, which is what I'm doing at my work. And the fourth is people management.
I think I'll agree with that 100% because I have trained under you before. You've actually given me a break. So I completely agree with that, and I definitely want to take this survey. But if I'm not interjecting, I did have one question which was interesting. If I would want to pursue the scaled agile course, because I have over 16 years of work ex in total, and more than about eight years has been into business analysis as well as project management. My domain experience goes from US mortgages to global markets to capital markets, and now coming back to regulatory reporting. So I am in this position right now where I am kind of thinking that, do I want to get into the consultancy space where I can be a more of a BA or practice more of a project manager role and actually use tools, because I've worked in captive organizations for very long. And what I have noticed in my experience is that once they have a set way of doing things, breaking that pattern is a little difficult for you or for anyone for that matter. So this is somewhere where I have, a little bit of like a doubt or a query that going with so many years of experience now, will a consultancy role kind of do that justice to that passion that I have that I want to? Not necessarily.
No, okay. So it's not necessarily. See, Shujat, I'll tell you, now that you shared a little bit of your experience for the benefit of the wider audience, of course, we both know each other. But then I'll tell you what might work. See, and not everything works for everyone. I'll tell you, I was at a particular point in time when I was a vice president of a banking organization, which was going through an entire agile transformation. When I say agile transformation, what I mean is 1,500 people were being put into squads. 1,500. Right? Now, if 1,500 people are doing, and they are doing it for the first time, and they hired external coaches, the thing was, they encouraged for you to do scaled agile is when you're putting 1,500 people into squads, you know how to do large scale agile. So Scrum at scale, how do you do Scrum at scale? You might be good at Scrum, leading a small Scrum team, right? But how do you do Scrum at scale? How do you do shared definition of done across many different teams which have got different regulatory commitments? That's when scaling helps. Understood? If your organization is not going through that journey, not necessarily you will need this. But what can also complement Shujat is, let's say you've done BA. After 16 years of experience, let's say you go for the pivotal PfMP certification. Now, I'll tell you the differences in terms of numbers and the importance in the industry, right? Because, we are all members of the PMI UK chapter as well as PMI. In fact, very recently, I've become the board of directors for PMOGI in the UK. Okay. So I'll tell you some of, thank you so much. So I'll tell you some of these numbers, right? Globally, you have got more than 14 lakhs, right? PMPs, 1.4 million PMPs. As compared to that, you have less than 1,400 PfMPs.
So pretty massive ratio right there.
It's a
Big
pretty
gap.
massive ratio, right? So that means what you're doing, Sujat, is you are positioning yourself as an executive person in the leadership team. Then when you show those traits, okay, you are up for the promotion, not only within your organization, but the industry views you. And I'll tell you something, the board membership which came to me, I didn't run after that. All of these certifications and the experience which I have, it's a pull thing. So it's a very interesting proposition to be in, right? So certain places you actually run after jobs. In a certain position, the jobs run after you.
Correct.
True.
So
That's
you
what I
have
want to
to be in
get
the
to now.
latter
That's what I want to
exactly.
get to.
Yeah, that's a sweet point you should be aiming for, actually, always.
Thanks,
It's
guys.
no-brainer. It's no brainer. Chirantan and I keep on doing certifications, and we keep on reading
Yeah.
and looking at like upscaling ourselves as well and helping others. See, we have done it for ourselves. We become successful. We got into, wherever we wanted to as a position wise or money wise, and we have helped many others like us to kind of on this journey. And that's how you should be choosing the mentor as well. I mean, like if someone who has done it firsthand for themselves first, and reap the benefits in terms of just not in the position, they have earned the money, you have to walk the walk and talk the talk, and they've successfully mentored others to do that as well, and that is the best mantra to choose a mentor in any industry.
Absolutely. Agreed.
Any other questions? Albert, you can unmute yourself and ask.
Anyone wants to ask me live questions, guys?
Yeah,
Before we
sorry.
wrap up?
Sorry, do you offer career mentorship as part of your program? Because
Yes.
I've actually enjoyed
Yes.
what you're saying, and I've also been to project space for a while, and I'm trying to transition, but there's been a blockade. So I just wanted to understand whether you guys do mentorship.
Yes.
And then
Yes. So we do. Of course, Albert. Thanks for asking the question. So what we do is we do a 3-month long one-on-one mentorship program. So mentorship is always one-on-one, right? So what we do is within these 3 months, we kind of understand first what are your skills, what have you been up to. We understand your aspirations of what you can do. We will then do certain assessments on our side with your consent that this is, and we will show you a mirror saying that, hey, this is what we feel is where your career can be leading to. We will give you some options, and then we stay with you on active mentoring program for 3 months one-on-one, and then we stay lifetime coaches, right? So me and Sandeep, we never let a student go. I'm sure that Sudeshna I can see is here. I don't know Balkrishna if he wants to say a few words, but we've always been kept that connect with our students. But that active mentorship will be on weekends, but will be for 3 months. We can talk offline as well.
That's for sure. I can vouch for it. So.
Thank you, Sudeshna.
Thanks, Sudeshna. You're very kind. Thank you. Any other question, guys?
Anyone wants to ask anything on the call, put it on chat. And as you know that this is just like a soundboarding exercise, right? So don't feel that, we are any big stalwarts. We are just common people. We are common people trying to help each other out.
Very humble of you, Chirantan. Very humble.
Domains, yeah, thank you, Virendra. That's a big part. In fact, on the domain side, thanks for asking that question. The presentation has this. So we cover a few questions on the domain side. Our domain examples that we present during our trainings cover a lot of the domain part. But there are a few things that we are launching as well in the next couple of months. One of them is the ESG certification, right? The environmental social governance, which is a very important topic worldwide, right? On climate risk and green financing, right? So we are going to launch our course in collaboration with a couple of global bodies, right? So there is GAR as well as there is another UK-based body which is doing that. So you can choose which body you want to go with. That is one thing. And another thing that we are doing is on Basel III reforms, right? So of course, Basel is a very important kind of regulation. So from the Basel Committee of Banking Supervision, and there are some reforms which are always coming up, right? So as you know that there are reforms which are already always coming up. So we are doing one course where we are teaching you how to calculate the capital. So whether you're calculating market risk capital or you're calculating the operational risk capital, what are the different types of calculators that you use? How do you kind of put in aspects for the capital market add-ons, etc.? That is also something that we are doing. In case you're interested, get in touch with us. We will send you that part of the course curriculum as well.
Yeah, I mean, just to add on what Chirantan have said, there are a lot of case studies which we do in our hybrid BA program, like hybrid business analysis program, where we take these case studies from various different industries as well, like healthcare, e-com, etc. basically. And so that you kind of understand the problem statement in a particular industry, and you can use that as an example in interviews and stuff. But if you are asking for any particular domain, definitely we're more than happy to get in touch with that. Just our numbers are there on the chat. Just get in touch with us, and we'll take it from there. Any more question, guys? Are you all happy? Are you all satisfied? I see a lot more people in the room, but no one is asking anything. So it looks like they all are settled and got what they wanted from the.
I'd like to thank you guys, because I even though I'm a seasoned player with more than 8-9 years experience in BA and project management, it's just that such a refresher course. So many of the questions, I was like, there was a time when I had learned this, and now I've just it was so hard to recollect. And then I got those questions. I got some of them wrong, some of them right, but it was a real refresher. So just wanted to thank the both of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Thanks,
so much for that. Well appreciated, and we will try and continue doing this work for the community, and we will encourage you as well. So in case you want to come and present on our forum, on our platform, please do that as well.
Thank you.
Can I just say, I've just recently done the hybrid BA course, but it was still very helpful in the webinar. I think the questions really help a lot. So yeah.
Thank you, Shweta. And our little BA is doing well, I guess.
Yeah.
So Shweta recently
Nice.
I've got a newborn. So
Yeah.
with a newborn baby, she was studying. I mean, that sort of commitment, what people have, and that's what makes you different than the other people. Some people complain, some people take actions, and that's what gets you the results at the end. So thank you, Shweta. We learned a lot, from our students, like every single day, and that makes us even more stronger as a team. So thank you once again. If no more questions, then shall we just end today's session and say thank you once again to everybody to join our session today. And if you have any more questions, please feel free to get in touch. We do not bite and no pressure. Okay. So you can ask us anything, and we stay the lifetime coaches, right? We don't leave you, right? So you can access us at any time. We might not be able to answer you straight away sometimes if we are busy in meetings, but we'll surely get back to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great 2023. Wish you all a very good career prospects for 2023. Stay safe, stay healthy, and Godspeed to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
Wish you the same. Thank you, guys.
Fisayo said, can we get the recording for this? If you leave me your email quickly, Fisayo, I'll send it to you on your email. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.